I just finished playtesting Hazy Hotel, and it is officially 100% better than Shade Containment Breach. Hi, I'm Icy, Iced, whoever. I'm the guy that made the paper roguelike, but not that one. It was called Shade Containment Breach, and it was really bad, and I hyped it up a ton, but it was really bad. Well, here's a actually good one. So, here's how it'll work. Like, the first thing I should probably show off is the battle system, which I forgot to grab the bus. Some papers, I'm stupid. Alright, ow. Okay, so these are the papers. This is the attacking paper, and this is the dodging paper. You don't have to get this one, you can just use +2. You can just use the +2 for the dodging, if you don't want to print both out. But, as you can tell from the battered and bruised paper, which you can't really see, but there's a ton of little spaces in there that got destroyed. You're gonna be throwing something at it. I suggest a dice. I don't really know what else you could use, but it would have to be the same shape as a dice, and also the same size as a dice, or it won't be that fun. So here's how you use this. During a fight, you'll put this down. I can't really. And then you'll put your feet directly in front of the paper. So like, let's say this is the floor, you'd put your feet here, then you'd take 2 steps back, like smaller steps, but like kind of like medium-sized steps actually. And then for each attack for each number in the attack stat, whenever I release the thing on the PCG Shop or Google Drive or whatever, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to figure out the PCG Shop, but once I release this, I will include a rules thing that will have all of the important stuff that you need, like all the stats that you'll need to keep track of. But the main thing here is the attacks stat. Every enemy also has a certain amount of attacks, and that's how many times you'll need to dodge, but I'll get to that later. So for each attack that you have, you'll throw the dice. Once it hits, wherever it hits, you basically change how much damage. So like, let's say that you have the same stats as the suit zombie, you never will, because you start with 5 damage. Okay, random cut. Don't question it. My phone ran out of storage, but I cleared up some. So let's say that you have the same stats as the suit zombie. So 2 attacks, 3 damage, and 13 health. Well, with this, you would stand back, and then you would throw the dice. You'd throw the dice once, and then once it hit the paper, whatever it hit, you would basically change how much damage you do for that attack by that much. So for this, he does 3 damage. Let's say you hit the +2. Let's say you hit the +2. Then you would do 5 damage. Or if you hit the -1, then you would do 2 damage. And then you do that as many times as your attack stat. So for the suit zombie, you would do 2 attacks. Yeah, I think that's about us. Oh, okay. So then whenever, let's say you're fighting against the gremlin, you're fighting a gremlin. You would pull out the dodge paper whenever it's their turn. You're the person that always starts. That's why there's no speed stat in this game. And then, however many attacks they have, that's how many times you throw the dice and try to hit the dodge. However many times you hit the dodge, that's however many attacks that you don't have to take. So let's say I hit the dodge once, then I would only take 10 damage, because I would take 5 damage twice. I think you get that. So now let's actually look at these rooms. Every single floor, you'll start in room 1, and you'll start on room 1 every single time. And then as you go through each room, your room will increase by 1. You'll complete 8 rooms. After the 4th and 8th room, you get a shop. You get to go to the shop, and then after 8th room's shop, then you fight the boss. But there's a couple of rules that I need to say. First of all, whenever you're rolling your dice for a room after you've completed one, if you hit the same room, you cannot. You roll again. If you get a reward room that does not count as a room, bro. Okay. If you hit if you get a reward room, that does not count as a room. Once you're finished opening the chest and getting your rewards, which basically whenever you get a reward room, you get to roll 2 times for rewards, and on the upgrades page, I'll show you in just a sec. That doesn't count as a room. You have to roll again, and if you cannot get 2 reward rooms in a row, you have to wait until you've completed another room. Hallways as well. These also don't count as rooms. Once you leave a hallway, it doesn't count as a room. Floor 3 doesn't have a hallway. In floor 3, there's 5 is actually just it's just a normal kind of room. That does count as a room because it's not a hallway. So now let's actually talk about upgrades. These there's 2 different types of upgrades: chest upgrades and then abilities. Abilities are kind of self-explanatory. They tell you what you're gonna get. You can only buy 3 abilities per run. And then chest upgrades, you can get these from chests. You'll roll, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 every single time you open a chest. Then you get to roll, and whichever one you hit, you get. You can also just buy them whenever you get to the shop for that amount of money each. And let's also explain the 0.5 ones. For all these things, whenever you have 0.5 damage, like 0.5, you round down every single time whenever you have decimals. So you round down. So if you have 2.5, then you do 2 damage. If you have like 7.5, you do 7 damage. And that's for every single stat. You round down whenever you're doing those stats. I think that's everything with upgrades. I think there's just one more thing I need to explain. And that's with leaving rooms. There's a couple of different things that can happen. You can either do the random one, which then you roll for a random room, hallway, or like whatever one. It'll like list the room that you go to. That's another one. Or you can leave with the reward thing, or you can just get a reward. If you do get a reward, that's just opening. Whenever you go to those reward sections, that just gives you 1 reward. I think there's only. Yeah. This is the I'm gonna need to fix this because it doesn't do that. You only get 1 reward from entering those locations. Yeah, I think that's it. There are gimmick enemies. You just check their ability to know what their gimmick is for what you're doing. Oh, bosses. Okay, bosses. You fight these after the 8th room's shop. They'll usually just have pretty big stats. They have like a description. But the main thing is abilities. There are 2 bosses with abilities. You follow these abilities whenever you're fighting. You got the Fred Fazbender ability in the box. Oh my gosh, I cut it again. Okay. You have a box ability and a Fred ability. These 2 abilities. You follow these whenever you're fighting them. You have to make sure to fight. You have to make sure to all the cuts. My goofy off phone keeps running out. Oh my gosh. My goofy off phone keeps running out of storage. Okay. I think that's everything. That's literally all I had to say, was that's everything. Hopefully my phone doesn't keep cutting out in later videos. I'll see you next time. Goofy.